Hello, friends. That's you. How are you? My name is Mike. This right here is Health and Wealth. Thanks for joining me today on another episode of the channel. So, today I like to do what I say I'm going to do. And yesterday I did what I said I was going to do. So, for the past, I don't know, couple of months, I've been mentioning that I want to buy more Nvidia. NVDA is the stock symbol. And I've been waiting for it to get to a certain level, like a certain target price. And yesterday it happened. So it was oh, I don't know what time that was, but it was pre-market. I was just kind of hanging out looking at all of the different stocks that I have right now, and I noticed that Nvidia had hit my target. And so I pounced. I jumped on it. What I did was, the first time, probably one of the first times ever, I took money out of my line of credit to buy these shares. And so this is a temporary move on the line of credit, but so just to put it in perspective, I don't like using margin because I don't want to have to pay back money that I don't really have. I don't like doing that. It's just not my style. I like to invest within my means, but this time I had to do it, right? Because I wanted to buy 10 shares of it. And so when it hit $88 in the pre-market, I almost called it the pre-shift right there. I transferred well, it was like 1,300 Canadian out of the line of credit into my Questrade account, and whammo, I bought the shares. I now have 10 extra shares. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm at 26 shares now of Nvidia, and 26.07, something like that, of Nvidia. My average cost is $112 because I started buying it when it was $132. And I'm really happy with that decision. I think it's going to be good for me long term. And by no means is this advice for you. It's just what I'm buying, and that's the company I really believe in long term. I think they're doing good things already. They're doing amazing things, big things, huge things. Uh, when they talk about their video game side of things brings in $3 billion, that's massive, right? In a quarter, $3 billion. When they talk about how their microchips are reducing by half every single year, that's incredible. The size of them, right? And so when they talk about autonomous cars, they're taking over the race in that one, in my opinion. So that's why I'm buying them. The long-term goal is I would love to get to 100 shares of it because I would love to sell covered calls with Nvidia. Premiums aren't as juicy as other companies out there, but it's a company that I want to hold long term, and so that's the reason I went out there and did that. I also budgeted, though. That's my thing, right? I budgeted that $1,300. When can I have it paid back? So getting paid every other Friday, we'll be able to pay that back pretty darn quickly. And it's not outside of my means. So yeah, I made that decision. That's for sure. I also made another decision. I'll tell you at the end of the video, about buying something. So let me share my screen with you guys just to kind of take a look. The market's kind of going up and down today like a yo-yo, as expected. So it was looking pretty good today. Nvidia, it was over the $100 range at certain points today, right? It was all the way up to $105. So that purchase looked good at 98. But I'm not in this just for the short-term volatility. I'm in this for until it gets to a certain dollar point. And so I've got time, I've got patience. I'm not buying this to sell it within a couple of days. I'm buying it in hopes that over the next couple of years it goes to that point. We'll talk about that point coming up here. But here's Nvidia, hovering around today at $98. Big promising stock, right? Everybody seems to love Nvidia out there. I'm not actually too sure why it's so low right now. Its revenue is up, its net profits are up, its income is up, its everything is up, compared to from quarter to quarter, right? So pretty amazing company. I love this little quote here. Could Nvidia top $1,000 a share in 2026? Well, I guess anything is possible. So it says here after splitting 10 for 1 early in June, could rise from 100 to 1,000 by 2026. This optimistic scenario assumes Nvidia keeps beating growth expectations and raising its forecast results, resulting in a 248% annual increase in the company's stock price over the next 2 years. So that's pie in the sky stuff right there. Is it possible? Anything is possible. But I do have this sitting here. This is true. I'm going to show you another screenshot of this after. But based on 42 Wall Street analysts offering 12-month price targets for Nvidia in the last 3 months, the average price target is $174. So that's pretty good. Its high forecast is 220. I can confirm this. I just went and looked. I've actually taken a screenshot for you to share that with you guys in a little bit. So that's the big purchase from yesterday was Nvidia. I still have Nvidia, and the two of them are the 1-2 punch. I think I definitely want to get to 100 of Nvidia eventually here, but I don't want to be too heavily weighted on just Nvidia in my portfolio. So I've got that Misty Nvidia Coney going on, and yeah, I don't want to weight everything on one company, but it is definitely something on the radar to buy more of. Let's go to the screenshots that I have for you here. So first one I have is this one. This is all about Nvidia. Let me move my face over here and do that for you, and then I'll zoom into this a little bit. Actually, can we zoom in here? Zoom. So right now, the analysts are saying they have it as a 9 out of 10 in a buying atmosphere here. So outperform. That's a good sign for me as a new purchaser to it. Analyst rating strong buy, average price target $175. The blogger opinion bullish. Nvidia sentiment 82%. Sector average is 65%. Right, so way above the sector average. Hedge fund activity increased by 1.92 million shares over the last quarter. That's huge. That's huge. Insider activity, $6.16 million worth of sold shares within the last 3 months. Down here, tip ranks investor neutral. News sentiment bullish, 71% bullish, 29% bearish. Technicals estimated is negative. I mean, over the last, like month and a half. Let's go look at it. We got the time, right? The last month and a half. Let's go take a look at this stock. Yeah, down 8%. Last 6 months, down 25%. Now, that has a lot to do with right after their earnings. Quite a bit of a drop since then. And so down 33% from that. So that kind of makes sense with the technicals, right? Going down. And then fundamentals, return on equity, 119%, asset growth, 69.79%. It's pretty incredible stuff. I also have another screenshot here. This is the one with the different analysts ranking this. Excuse me, I have a man cold, and my goodness, I've drank a lot of tea today. So check it out. There's that 175 that we just saw. 37 are saying buy. 4 are saying hold. Nobody's saying sell this thing. The most recent update was yesterday. Their price target was $185. And then the highest that I saw was 220. Now that was 20 days ago. That's the highest that somebody has said they see the price target of this going over the next near term, I suppose. For me, I said I was going to set a target, a price, and I think my price is going to be $190. I'm not selling it till it gets to 190, but I might reanalyze that myself whenever it gets close to that number. But I think at 190, I would make a decent profit on it, and yeah, I think I would be really satisfied with the purchase I made. So we'll see. No guarantees on that number, but we'll see where I'm at whenever I get to that. I don't know. What do you guys think about that idea? I also have a video clip here talking about buying Nvidia. Let's go take a look at this, and we'll talk at the end. Here we go. Let me move my face out of your way. Whoa.
All this said, and you're very plain in the criticism that you have about how this all came out, the severity of it, and what the ramifications might be. You're more net long now than you were prior, and you've added to some long positions, including, I'm told, Nvidia, which is ugly today and has not traded well at all lately. Why was this the moment to add to that stock?
True. The semiconductor index is down 20%. Nvidia, as you know, is down from, I think, a peak this year at 150. So this stock's down by a third. Remember, we entered today in kind of bomb shelter positioning. We had puts on the NASDAQ. We had tremendous number of shorts. We're sitting in a lot of cash. We only had 50% of our long book even positioned in the market. So we're dramatically outperforming on a day like today. So we're going from the bomb shelter to simply, our safety positioning. And that means adding about 15% of net exposure. And we're adding it in the areas that we believe we're continuing to see secular growth. And as you know, the growth and the demand for GPUs is off the charts. You hear it from OpenAI, you hear it from Google, you hear it from Elon, you hear it from others. I know there's a debate about that, but that's the side of the debate that we're on. And then although we saw these tariffs announced yesterday, we also saw a list of exceptions. And one of the list of exceptions, wise exception, is semiconductors. And I think the reason that semiconductors are being accepted is because for us to charge a tariff on our own chips, right, which are fabricated in Taiwan because they can't be fabricated in the United States, we don't have the fabs yet. TSMC, who he mentioned in his speech yesterday, has committed to massive investments as a result of the president's policy in Arizona to build cutting-edge fabs. But right now he gave them an exception because we know if we increase the cost of these chips that we design to our own companies like Meta, like Google, like Microsoft, like OpenAI, we're only shooting ourselves, right? Because we're in a global race in AI. We can't hamper our ability to win that race. And so I think that was a wise decision to put them on the exception list. I'm sure he's going to keep an eye on whether or not the fabs are being built in Arizona. But I think we're going to net end up in a much better place in terms of our global supply chain as a result of these decisions. But that's the reason we're buying Nvidia today. We think the demand is off the charts. We think the negative impact from tariffs is going to be much less than in other areas. But listen, if we end up in the teeth of a recession, then even Nvidia at 18 or 19 times earnings might not perform that well. Like, we need to avoid a recession in this country. I think it's very bad if we find ourselves in the fall in a recession, and we're heading into the midterm elections in 2026. I don't think the president, the administration, or Congress want to risk a recession, toward the end of this year.
We'll take a quick break, Brad, if you don't mind. We'll come back with you in a
Completely agree with just about everything he said there, right? And so the demand is off the charts. That's the reason I bought it. When there's a huge demand for a product and they can't keep up with that demand, that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing because then they want to expand, they want to keep going, they want to keep building and keep selling that product. So that's why I bought it. I almost forgot. I said I was going to buy something else, and I was actually already editing this video, but here we are 10 minutes later. I forgot I was going to buy something. So here we are. Bitcoin's at 76,640. I transferred money into my Coinbase, and I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to buy $500 worth of Bitcoin minus the fee. I think the fee, let's just see if it tells me here, is review submitted. Didn't tell me the fee. I think the fee is $2.99. And there we go. So I just bought $500 more worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. So that's going to be my new bank account, is Bitcoin, right? Back to the video. What kind of other yield max, outside of yield max, what kind of funds are you in? What kind of stocks do you own that you really stand behind, that you think are going to be huge in the future, that are going to make you a ton of money? I'd be curious to know in the chat. If you enjoyed this content today, hit the like, subscribe, and if you want to become a member, I would love to have you because you are awesome. My name is Mike. This is Health and Wealth. Have a great day.